Part 3 is create your content. Now keep in mind today's training is about the video. And what I'm going to break down for you is last session's breakout. All the things that I did to create the content, but then also edit it, or as I call it, slice and dice it. So creating the content, what are we going to teach? Today, specifically in the last 2 years, it's never been easier to create frameworks because we can go into AI and say, listen, I'm teaching business internet AI mastery. The theme of this particular training is video mastery, my 7 steps to personal or purposeful growth. And here's some of the ideas that I have. Can you build out a 7-step framework for me? Can you give me some framing about big picture why? Why is it important to do this? Can you help me build an action list for this? I did some of that work before this training, but as I've shared with you from day one, when we started the AI conversation, I did not leverage much in today's training about it. It gave me a little bit of insight. It told me to double down on the why, which I already had in mind. It also gave me some ideas for titles. So I made my own, but I did use some of its ideas. But I really like to step into it on my own because I've built this skill over the years. So the biggest thing is to create your content and then take time with it. I usually do it in Apple Notes. Sometimes if I want to write stuff out or draw pictures, because you'll see in some of my work, there's the bullseye and that kind of stuff, I will make sure I use Freeform. So Apple Notes and Freeform. Freeform is an app that you can draw in on Apple products. iPad Pro or iPad, Mac. You can't really draw on the Mac, except maybe with your trackpad and your mouse. But with the iPad, I can use the pencil. And then you can see it on your phone as well. And you can do a little bit of that work in Freeform there. So the place that I create content, if I was going to give you an action list for you to create content, like the tools, the first one would be some note-taking app. Could be Apple Notes, could be UpNote, could be Evernote, could be OneNote that's on Microsoft. 2, some form of a graphical tool. Like you can do that work in GoodNotes on the iPad. You can do that work in Freeform. 3rd is that idea of drawing it out, like getting it on something. So I'll have my Freeform and I have my Apple Notes. I'll put it up here. But the other aspect to it, kind of bonus part of it, is use AI to help build that out. Build out your thoughts, those kind of things. I would still challenge you to make it your own, but that's the concept. Does that all make sense? So to recap, create your content, get your general ideas down. Think of them in frameworks where you have one point that you can illustrate or tell a story about, teach, and then challenge people on. Make it 3, 5, 7, 9. That's usually good numbers for different frameworks, depending on the length of your training. And then really flesh out great stories or illustrations. Pretty much now, because of the coaching that I've done over the years, I can come up with illustrations and have a great memory for that, so I can bring them up as I need them. I don't really rely on, sometimes I'll make notes that I want to bring up this illustration here or there. Most of the time it's off the cuff. But that's something that you learn as you learn to speak extemporaneously, which means without notes, impromptu. You're just stimulated to share and talk. There is a structure, but there is no particular things that I want to cover in each piece of the structure, if that makes sense. Cool? That's create your content. Our goal for the lens of what we're doing today is 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes where you cover big picture perspective, go over a few pieces of a framework, and then have an action list to move things forward. Then, once that's done, you slice and dice it